Okay, welcome back everyone to the EDM Films podcast. Maybe you can see a little bit of video of us on YouTube and or Facebook. So wherever you're joining us, thank you for doing so. We appreciate it. As always, I'm Joey Edwards, and with me tonight...
Brittney Winkle.
Jessica Howard.
Do that one more time.
Brittney Winkle.
It's there. Not on.
Yeah, we turned it off during the break, so
Brittney.
now we're back. Okay, so cool. So thank you for checking us out on SoundCloud and potentially iTunes if you're listening to us there. But don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And having done all of that obligatory self-promotion, let's go ahead and get right into the show.
So we're actually just going to answer a few questions today. And the first one is, why did you get into the entertainment business? Jessica, we'll start with you.
That's a really great question. See, I had this friend that I kept dropping all these hints about. I really would love to try my hand at acting one day. And then she calls me up on the phone and says, hey, would you like a big part in this movie? And I'm like, absolutely, I would totally do that. So that's how I got into film. My friend called and asked me and gave me a handout. It was awesome.
1 month ago.
1 month ago. I'm officially an actress now. I did it.
Congratulations.
Do I get a certificate?
I'm going to give you cookies.
Like
I have cookies at home.
Not yet.
and
You
a
still
certificate.
have, there's still some more stages that you have to complete
Oh, okay.
before it's
I
official.
could get cut out of the film before it ended.
That's not true. Joey, what's your answer to that question?
You're not going to get cut out. In fact, you
Okay.
might actually get added one more minor thing.
Oh, exciting.
Okay, could you repose the question for me, please?
Why did you get into the entertainment business?
Initially, because I was a camera hog and I wanted to be an actor. I loved being, on screen. And it was all back in the high school days of doing the home movies where we did it on VHS recorder, and then we, did all the editing manually with Y adapters and cables to a boom box and, synchronizing shot, gun effects and explosions and stuff, and ketchup for blood and all that stuff.
Nice.
So I initially started just for myself. It's fun. And when it's not fun, I don't want to do it. And that's when it's time to pack up the stuff and go home, or, hey, I'm just not feeling it. And I'm not talking about my whole life, like, oh, I'm not going to do it anymore. I'm talking about like a specific project. If I don't get a good feel from the people I'm working with, I'm out. So it has to be fun first and foremost. So
I agree.
Thanks for letting me meander right back to you, Brittney. Now that question is posed
Brittney,
to
why
you.
did you get into the entertainment business?
Mine's going to be a little bit deeper than these guys, I think. So I grew up with two older sisters. I was not by any means the center of attention. As mentioned in an earlier podcast, I was very quiet and reserved. And I was in a WASP family, white Anglo-Saxon Protestant, fairly wealthy family. And movies were my escape. And I thought that the only thing I ever really wanted to do, and the dream of mine, was to somehow be a part of that magic to make another little girl escape her reality.
Aww.
And that's why I did it.
That's
Well,
why she's a writer.
I'm glad that you went there and it wasn't just the third person saying, I'll just do it because it's fun. Not taking anything away from you. Your
Sure.
answer is great because you're fresh and new. You just started.
Yeah.
Your experience is you just started off a month ago, and I've been doing this for several years. I don't really want to date myself, but more than 20. And so yeah, how long have you been doing this, by the way?
Oh gosh, you're gonna make me date myself.
Well, if you say 5 or 6 years,
The
I mean,
female
that's
in the room?
8 or 10 years,
10 to 15.
10 to 15. Okay. Well, that's quite a span. 5-year jump. 10 to 30.
When we say entertainment, are we talking about just movies or entertainment in general?
We're talking like, well, I guess for us, it's
Great
why did you
question.
get into making movies? Because that's why. The answer that I just gave would be, why did I get into making movies? I wanted to give back to what I felt gave so much to me.
Right.
So I guess for you it'd be kind of different, because
I'm in
music and hair and writing and all of the things that you're a part of. So maybe that changes your answer. What's your answer?
It does, because I was being campy in the beginning. I think as far
I also
as
want to go
entertainment-
again.
Okay, we're gonna just keep going to the round table. I mean, mine is always, first and foremost, it's a self-expression. It's to be able to get all these feelings or thoughts or emotions and energy outside of my body, because I feel like if you keep it in, like I was writing poetry at 15 and speaking to people, and I like being in front of those. Like, it's exhilarating and it's a thrill, and but I also want to be able to inspire people too. Like, if I can move somebody with my music, be it be like on a worship team or, singing at a karaoke bar and I affected somebody that night. Like that's like a huge payoff, and sometimes it's just because you're reaching for accolades and you want people to tell you you're awesome. But in the same space, it's nice to be able to affect the world around you.
She was talking really fast earlier, and I think she just caught herself and slowed down at the last second there.
Did I? I probably did.
No,
I'm
you did
sorry.
great.
I'm
You
a
did
fast.
great.
I was born and raised in Texas, and you think I would have a better accent and a drawl, and I would slow down and sound like a Southern belle, but unfortunately, I don't. I sound like I'm from New York, and I can't help myself.
Joey.
That's funny. I was
fast.
born and raised in Texas, and I don't. Only time that I've noticed that I have any sort of accent is when I say "ain't y'all gonna and fixin'."
Mine is quit.
Remember how I said I wanted to go again? It's kind of the reason I do want to entertain. People told me I had to. No, I am a cut up and a ham and all those things that I've said in every episode now. But I've been told probably one of the worst things that you can ever tell someone is a lot of pressure. It's like, you should be a comedian.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, be funny. And my buddy Tom, you can empathize with this because he is a professional comedian. It's like, be funny, dance, sing. You're a singer. Sing for me. It's
Right.
like, I can't do that. And whenever you create something from scratch and you do it your way, that's how you express yourself. I can't
Sure.
just drop of the hat and be like, hey, okay, I'm the comedian.
It happens organically.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Funny that you say that, because in Proof Positive is the podcast before that when you put me on the spot and I couldn't answer you.
Am I on the spot right now? Hey, if I say something stupid, I'll be the first one to admit, that sucked.
Right.
And I'm out. Sorry, my bad. I'll stop talking now.
Yeah. I'm the first one to make a fool out of myself if that's what it takes. And maybe it turns out bad, maybe it turns out funny, but if I can make you laugh and I look stupid doing it, like that's okay with me. Like,
See, I'm the make you cry.
well,
My
you
instinct,
did that twice.
My
Thank you,
instinct
while we were filming.
is the make you cry. You guys are the make you laugh, and I'm the make you feel something. I'm the one-liner, not the comedic one-liner, the dramatic one-liner, the drop the
to
mic,
make you
the
question life's properties. Like,
yeah. So it's an interesting dynamic. But in our inspirational podcast, sorry, I did it again.
I'll put that on the other side next time.
Inspirational podcast. The next question is, if you have one, what movie has had the most important impact on you, or the most impact on you?
If you already have an answer, please go, because I'm going to have to think.
I've got one.
Sure.
Okay. So the most I'm already like stumbling over my words. Blah blah blah.
I'm not editing.
The most important movie to me that's impacted my life, I would have to say, I'm gonna go way back and say The Wizard of Oz. I mean, I know that's a oldie but goodie, but like my family, like every time it came on television, because see, we didn't have Netflix and all this other stuff back in the day. You wanted to watch something, or was a movie, they would put it on TV as like this special, like once a year or twice a year, Wizard of Oz would get put on, and you would.
It was a special time of year when that came on.
Exactly. So my whole family would make a bowl of popcorn. We'd all sit down together. We'd sing the songs together. Like that was family time for me, And I mean, even like going back to this day, I mean, it even ties in with my dad. Like that's the last thing I got to do with him before he passed away like 8 years ago. I mean, that it just makes this beautiful, poignant moment where it's funny how it all kind of circles back into that world. And then again, here's the fantasy and the world you disappear into, and the beautiful colors and the costumes and the makeup. And I mean, it was just a brilliant movie. And I mean, it's affected me more ways than one. Like I want to be Dorothy and I want to be the witch at the same time. And like I said, it just creating that family, like warmth and love, like is always centered around that.
Well, and side note, huge, connection for Jessica and I is Wicked.
Yeah,
which is
for sure.
The
Best
witch's
friends.
story of Wizard of Oz. So
Yeah.
so that's just a whole other connection.
It's where
that
the
kind of where we
string lines
come.
all together.
Yeah.
I don't. At the risk of turning this into the ditch, do you know that at least at this table and one more person outside, there is a connection of a lost parent?
Absolutely.
Anyways, the three of us share that, and
Sure.
also Mike. I don't know about the other three, but anyway, that was interesting. That's when you said that about your loss. I was like,
Yeah.
But that's the reason why. But
Maybe the reason why we like to laugh a little bit more, or her being a little bit more, because we understand the facets of pain and the absence of laughter when those times are tough and we lost that person important to us. So we know that life needs to be filled with joy, or we know we need to question the things that make us sad and to work through that. I don't know. I think it's important, and it brings balance. I mean, like, I think it's why our friendship works, is because she's she's the dark and I'm the light. And then sometimes our roles reverse and we have to count on each other to bring us back up. So sometimes I get dark and then she makes me laugh and does something, I don't know, interesting or brings me flowers. I don't know. She does weird stuff with me.
You don't bring me flowers.
But I mean,
Great Barbra Streisand and Neil Diamond song, by the way.
The most inspirational, or the film that has inspired me the most?
That's had the most impact on you.
Most
Not
impact?
necessarily inspirational.
Oh, man. There's a couple that are swimming through my mind. I'm going to have to... I will settle on saying, for conversation's sake and not to take up too much time, I'm going to say Platoon. Platoon had a big impact on me because I was growing up, for some reason, I was very interested in the Vietnam War and the Vietnam era. And in fact, MASH was originally supposed to be about Vietnam, but they changed it to be about Korea. And MASH is one of my all-time favorite TV shows. But so I had this fixation on the Vietnam War in that era. And I mean, I've got tons of books. And I mean, Boys of Company C, Hamburger Hill. I can't think of the other one off the top of my head. But anyway, all of those. But Platoon, for some reason, with Charlie Sheen, Kevin Dillon, man, when he took that rifle butt and started banging the Viet Cong person in the head and blood splattered, and I'm not saying I liked that or enjoyed that, but I mean, there's just the trauma, the perils of war, and these guys were just they were basically sent over there as kids, and they came home as completely different creatures.
Absolutely.
And just the horrors that they had to experience, and that's it, in the real world. And all these wonderful young boys went over to Southeast Asia and came back just damaged.
Yep.
And so that movie just had a huge impact on me based on that alone.
Yeah, my grandfather was actually in the Vietnam War. He was in World War II, the Korean War, and then Vietnam at 52. He wasn't supposed to go, and then they're like, just kidding, you're going. So he was over there. He was in the artillery. He was also in Patton's artillery, too. So we have all this, like, really cool artifacts and stuff that he had with, like, a Nazi armband with, like, blood splatter and, like, all these, like, crazy pictures. I didn't know what I was looking at as a kid, but, like, even, like, the Vietnam War that he had, and, like, there's just, like, rows of bodies, like, in a ditch.
Right.
Like, I mean, like, crazy intense stuff. So, like, Platoon, like, amazing movie, and it's one of those, I feel like it's one of the closest to kind of portray, like, the just crazy darkness and sadness all those guys had to go through to fight.
Full Metal Jacket was the other movie I was thinking of, by the way.
Yeah, it was too.
What about you, Brittany?
Oh, hands down, Funny Girl.
But you already talked about that
I
in
know,
another
but
installment.
I can't. No, I just
But
said
that's okay.
I just said it was my favorite movie. I didn't talk about it.
So why was it the most impactful upon you?
You're a great host.
First musical I ever watched with first movie I ever remember watching with my mom. And, we talked about, we all have this connection of this lost parent. And I lost my mom just shy of 5 years ago. Or 6 years ago. Oh my gosh. So for me, it's Barbra Streisand, number one. And I'm sorry, I know I'm young and I shouldn't love Barbra Streisand.
We love Barbra Streisand.
She is, in fact, the reason why we're going to Boston.
For sure.
Is to see Funny Girl live off Broadway for the first time
That's
since
a great
it was
nugget.
originally on Broadway. We're going to opening night, which is huge. And it's a big deal for me.
That's what you should include in the film then. You should include you walking up to that.
I can.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about a couple of options on Sunday,
but for me, Funny Girl, it's Barbra Streisand. It's this, and music is a huge part of my life, and it's just this magical voice and this amazing actress and this story, this love story, and it was and honestly, it has nothing to do with the movie. It's the light in my mom's eyes watching that movie. I will never forget it, and I just got the chance of introducing that movie to my children. My daughters for the first time a couple months ago, and just sit up and to watch them watch this movie and experience it for the first time. And I have probably seen
That's
it
how I want my daughter to
times.
be with Platoon.
You know what, though? I think
Just
that,
kidding.
like, these movies that influence us, and obviously we talk about these things and we connect these with influences in life, and, like, that's what movies do. Like, movies and music and all those things that are creative, and they outpour of energy and emotions and stuff that, I mean, people go, this is where I was when I watched this movie. Like, I can remember being like 8-9 years old and seeing Jurassic Park when it came out on film, and I was so scared I buried myself in the seats and, like, hummed and, like, talked to myself. But my dad was taking us and the kids out so my mom could have, like, a Tupperware party, and but you know what I mean. Like,
Does that mean that she was drinking or having
I don't know.
sex
I think they
or
were having one of
something?
those
Sex
lingerie
party?
parties
Oh, okay.
for women
There you
back
go.
then. I mean, they weren't
Did
doing.
they have those back then?
They had lingerie parties, but they didn't have like this, like the other stuff they have.
Yeah,
now.
they're called key parties, and that ties us right back to Rooftop Summer, where that was initially going to be something that somebody was going to throw a set of keys into a bowl.
Yes.
And that's anyway. There's some trivia for you there. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good.
You know how you like the fantasy, the epic.
Mm-hmm.
I'm seeing some connections here. I said Platoon, and I mentioned Tombstone before, but also a movie that is just boom, light bulb. One of my favorite movies as a kid was Excalibur, because I'm fascinated with the Middle Ages or that that
the Iron Age.
My daughter's going to get to go to medieval times,
Nice.
and I'm like jealous. I'm like, I want to go.
I know, right?
I want to go to medieval times because
go,
I
like,
like the
once a
knights and
year.
all that.
At least once a year, and we get like a little wooden thing, and my son gets it signed off, and you eat your like. What do they call it?
I've never been.
The soup is like some sort of basil tomato, and I'm like, it's pizza soup, honey. Like, eat it. Like,
Right.
they don't give you any other options, so you get your kids to eat it. But
A tie back to Excalibur through medieval times to another all-time favorite movie, which is off subject here, but I love The Cable Guy with Jim Carrey.
I know, right?
Best Jim Carrey movie, The Majestic or Truman Show.
Good.
Just
Oh,
saying.
I love The Truman Show.
Best comedy, Liar Liar, hands down.
Yeah, but what about
I
like?
still use lines from that. It's like,
Oh,
hey,
I do
Joey, what's
too,
up?
all the
Your
time.
cholesterol level, fatty. And they're like, what? You son of a bitch? What are you talking about?
You know what though? Like we're talking about medieval times and stuff, but what Richard Gere and with he was like Sir Lancelot. What is that? First Night? Is that what it's called? The First Night? I
Not
don't know.
sure.
It was with Guinevere and Richard Gere, and like
Yeah.
he even had the silver fox thing going on then, and he was so hot in that movie, and they had like the silver like outfit on. It was,
Richard Gere, yeah, he is hot.
It was hot stuff. Him and Sean Connery, man, like they were my favorites growing up.
So we're
She's
kind of running out of
swimming in
time
the
here.
loch.
We wanted to keep
Sure.
it kind of short. So the last question, and let's give a short answer, but what advice would you give to someone wanting to make a film but doesn't know where to start? So what Jessica, you're the most recent into all of this. So what, just real quick, what would be your...
I would say network on Facebook, because I've even before this, like I've worked on a set, I've done hair and makeup for somebody just because they were in the film industry, and I say, oh yeah, you do movies? Can I come do something with you? Like if you ask people, like they're always looking for people to help. So just network, like shoot it out on Facebook and say, hey, anybody in the film stuff, like if you need any help, I'll be a PA. Like start from the bottom and just be there, and then you never know what experience you're going to gain from it.
Joey?
My advice is, I like your advice, but I'm gonna have to also add to be guarded, be careful. You're gonna get asked to do a lot of things for free or for cheap, and that's okay in the beginning.
Sure.
But just there's a certain level, there's a certain amount of work that you should get paid for. So make sure that you don't get caught in a bad situation where you've got like some, egomaniac who's just running you crazy. But anyway, that's just a side note on breaking in, doing the freebies and the PA stuff. But
Sure.
as far as, you're going to have to live and learn. I mean, that's what I've done. I've been doing it for a long time, and I've finally got a group of people around me that I trust. And that's the main thing, is I don't want to work with other people unless there's a reason for it. If there's a reason to collaborate, if it's that $30 million, $2 million, here's $1 million to make your dream indie film,
Sure.
you have to work with these people. Okay, fine, I can handle that. But otherwise, until it's that situation, I want to be in full control of my situation, not y'all.
Right,
I'm just
right.
saying I want to be in full control of what goes down and have a say in who's in and who's out. And that's taken years. So I guess if there's any advice to pull out of that is just go ahead and start taking your lumps.
Yep.
Bring my microphone back up. I would say that
Do it, Lord Vader.
shut up. My two pieces of advice are: one, stay ethical, stay moral, stay in your comfort zone. Don't ever branch out of it just because someone's
compromise
offering you
yourself.
some sort of golden ticket, because I promise you there's no golden ticket. And the other part of that is just start making a movie. Grab your friends, grab a camera, go in the yard, and start filming.
Do it with your freaking phone or GoPro or whatever. Yeah, that's great advice.
You'd be amazed at, you know what? If you don't walk away with a Sundance Square or Sundance queer.
Sundance Film
if you know,
Festival, yeah.
if you don't walk away with a nomination for the Sundance Film Festival, you know what you walked away with? You walked away with a lifetime of memories with those friends and that point of time in your life, and that's more important than winning an award will ever be.
Find the joy.
So if you want to make movies, pick up a camera and start filming.
What'd you say? Find the Joey? That's
Find
right.
the joy.
Find the Joey.
Find the
Find
joy.
the joy
If-
and the Joey.
If you're watching this or listening to this and you truly want to get started in film and you're a cool person, we will vet you. We will vet you. Hey, give us a call. I mean, we'll take on new
Absolutely.
talent anytime. So
But be humble and be fair and be willing to work.
Yeah.
that's right. Okay, well that's 3 in the can. We've done 3 installments today, and I'm very proud of how this is going to work. We're going to have different guests. We're going to have different subject matter. And the next thing is y'all are headed to Boston.
We are.
And
Yes.
you're gonna give us an installment from Boston. So, all right, as always, thank you for listening and watching, and we'll see you next time. And I'm out.
I'm out.
I'm out.